All right. Sorry, I'm a little quiet because I'm eating food.
God damn it! What the fuck?
I mean, some goddamn
Wait a
meatballs.
second.
Mirror Park.
Everybody on standby? We might have shots fired here real quick.
Well, honestly, we should just let them shoot each other and just go sit at Crusade Medical. And by the time they bring them in, we'll just GSR everybody coming in. Like, hello?
I've heard worse ideas.
I'm gonna be. I mean, why just not just GSR everybody coming? I mean, they got to end up somewhere. Like, hello? Are we stupid?
There's no 911, so far so good. Okay.
911's for what?
It wasn't a
Shots
shots
fired.
fired. It was just a person with firearm.
Yeah, that's the thing. Well, it starts with that, ends up with somebody getting shot.
We can't frisk everybody
Yeah.
that walks into the hospital either, though.
All right, welcome everybody to a Shift 3 meeting. It is January 30th, 2024. I am Captain Slacks, hosting this meeting. There's a lot to discuss. There's a lot to talk about. There's a lot that happened last shift. And it might bleed to this shift because we know that there's been ongoing conflict during Shift 2 and Shift 3 and early shift or late Shift 1 when it comes to what I'm going to talk about. However, before I proceed, you know, a lot of times we're being placed in a position where you have to make a quick judgment call. A lot of times you're placed in a high stress situation where there's a lot of moving parts and pieces and there's a lot of people involved and you don't know who's who and who's the potential criminal, who's the victim, who's the witness, who's involved, what is you need to document. I understand things can be hectic. I understand this job is going to be very challenging. However, everybody here should be able to pull their own weight. Everybody here should be able to know what they're doing, and if they have any issues, you should be able to ask.
Warren got
questions for help.
pushed.
And if there's anything you ever need, follow the chain of command. But the most important thing is our fundamentals. Just like any profession, just like any career, you need to bring your A game every single time. And when there's reports of shots fired, when there's reports of ongoing activity between two parties going at it and potentially violent, everybody has to lock it in. And we got to do our due diligence to make sure that we detain everybody on the scene. We do the scene control. We try to do everything we can to investigate who's involved, right? And I'm only saying this not because it's one of those things where it's due job announcements, because I'm seeing it fail on scenes multiple times. And we need to do a better job. Because while we can say, well, we don't have the necessary tools to help us, and I totally agree, we are definitely down bad. However, you don't need any tools to just practice your fundamentals. You don't need any PD tools to make sure that you do your job correctly.
You know what I'm learning?
You investigate, you detain, you GSR, you
This is
question,
Flop's
you
fault.
break down statements, right? Those fundamentals are very important to our policing, to what we're trying to do. Understood?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So,
Yes, sir.
thank you.
Understood.
So here's the thing. There's been ongoing conflict between now two different parties.
I think this is partially my fault.
There was an incident that happened in Jamestown between Mr. K and Rami and Mosley's and the people Mary. And it seems like there's some sort of back and forth going on. There's also Popular Motorworks and Dundee getting involved, trying to burn down her house. You also have the company and the sanitation guys going at it. Now, ever since the company war has started sanitation, there used to be probably 7-8 crews doing sanitation. Now there's probably 1, 2, 3 max. People are afraid to do their job in sanitation. People are scared because they know they cannot be protected. They know the second they clock in sanitation, someone will find them and shank them and stab them. So what I'm asking from everybody here is,
Yeah, I
try
don't
to
think
do
shanking is
proactive
the issue.
policing, proactive patrolling, officer presence, be near those locations where the temperatures and the amount of crime is very hot, right? And we need to be proactive in a way to, if something does happen, we're either around the corner or nearby to where we can move in quickly and swiftly and try to assess the threat and deal with it as soon as possible. Any questions about that?
No, but I just think to add on that, I think proactiveness after the calls already happened is a big thing. We're like falling asleep whenever things are already happening on scenes and stuff. No one's stepping up, grabbing 95s. No one's taking statements. We gotta get to that.
That's can I pause for a second? That's where communication needs to happen. Hey, you're taking statements. You're detaining at 95. Just talk to each other. You shouldn't be strangers on scene. Hey, listen, Killers, you're gonna be taking that 95.
I don't feel like that's
I'll take
happening.
that guy right here. Work as a team, right? Don't see each other's ranks.
I
See
don't.
each other's teammates, working a
I
team,
don't-
and we need to work together to make it happen because I can't do it
I-
alone, right?
eh,
I can't do
I
everything
can't say
alone.
that
If I
that's
do,
happening very
I'm
often.
end up naturally cutting corners
I think
because I'm
Tom
trying to do
sucked the
multiple
other
things at
day,
once, and that leads
but
to
that can be
bad
improved
police
on.
work or
I
poor
don't.
police
I
work.
don't see that being a primary issue right now.
If nobody else is stepping up, you step up and you try to delegate people roles. Cletus?
Oh, sorry. I thought I put my arm down.
Okay. Turner?
In terms of meeting, yeah, I got another part to put in. Are you talking about this situation specifically?
Just in general.
In general, okay.
I
Some
so
of you
I have a question though about all this before we move on to the next topic. To the next stop. So like if we see like let's just say these groups like swinging at each other or doing whatever they're doing, like let's say they're using melee weapons. Is it kind of like if they run like we're going and swinging with the baton, or is it still like the normal kind of chase procedures at that point?
Can you elaborate? What, so you arrive on scene, they just shank each other and they fled, or what are you trying to say?
Yeah, well, I mean they're trying to flee. Like let's say they're attacking each other. Is it like hey, stop? Or we're gonna start swinging. Or stop? Or we're gonna be shooting.
Shooting.
Or are we
If
letting
they're
them
using
leave and
melee
we're just
weapons,
chasing
do
them like
not
normal?
get close to them at all with the baton. Use your lethal. You verbalize. If they don't stop, you will deploy lethal force on them.
Okay.
You're talking about they're still an active threat.
I mean, I could be. No, I was talking about. Let's say one side comes out on top, and then now they're starting to scatter.
Right, but
Okay.
how do you know who's the aggressor and who's the attacker, right?
Well, that's why I'm asking. What are we doing? Is it like, hey, stop, and if you keep running, I'm gonna start smacking.
That's what I did that shit twice in 2 days.
Yeah,
Both times
I
with the
mean,
American flag in my hand.
they can't even claim self-defense if they're not willing to inform the police. when
Well,
the
that's
threat
what
no
I'm
longer
saying. Like, if
exists.
it's still ongoing, I completely understand. The stop or I'll shoot, the stop or I'll shoot. But let's say we get on scene and let's just say that there's one person standing over the body. There's like 3 people standing over the bodies of 3 other people, and then now they're all starting to run. Are we beating them down then if they don't stop?
Are they attacking with melee weapons?
Yeah, let's just say it's a melee brawl. Like gangs of New York.
So okay. So you arrive on scene and you see what 3 individuals over a body with melee weapons out.
3 individuals over 3 bodies. Let's just keep it simple. It was a 3-on-3.
Okay. Since you don't know who's the aggressor and who's the attacker, I would deploy lethal force. Sorry, less lethal. My apologies. I'll use a baton if they run off. Now, if you know for a fact one is an aggressor and you saw the stabbing, I would give him a warning and then I would
I
shoot.
see this differently.
Okay, so
if you're gonna run from the police,
stop or I'm gonna start swinging.
Correct.
Okay, that's what I wanted to know.
hot take.
But if you do know the aggressor, definitely use your lethal and end the situation as soon as possible.
I'm gonna
Okay,
let.
So, I need clarification then, Lex. You want to pull out a baton against a wrench or a knife? You don't know who the aggressor is.
Only if they're running off and not posing a threat, while the weapons are, not brandished, of course. And now if they're running off with weapons,
Not brandished.
keep your weapons out and keep a distance and tell them if they don't stop.
If they
just really
run
depends
from
on
the
the
scene, does
circumstances,
not
right?
already give the assumption that they're the aggressor?
I mean, to me, it just sounds at the end of the day, Tennessee Garner. They're deadly weapons, regardless of if it's a gun or not.
Absolutely, but you need to articulate a reasonable belief that
Yeah,
person's going to pose a danger, right? So.
Yeah, 100%.
I seen what them shits can do. I mean, hell, I seen a wrench take out 3 son of bitches in one swing, and I've seen a gun shoot somebody 9 times and ain't take them out. Hell, I took 18 the other day.
But we have a use of force that we stick to, right?
I'm.
Well, also, it's not safe to approach a melee weapon. If they have wrenches and knives and you're trying to push them with a baton, 9 10 times they're going to get that swing on you before. So keep your distance, 21 feet, have the gun drawn. They take off with weapons out, you warn them and you shoot. If they stash the weapon away or they, tuck it away into their belt and they take off, you pull out your baton, you warn them stop. If they don't stop, you attack them with a baton.
I don't.
Clear enough to everyone?
Okay.
What if they get inside a vehicle?
Pursue
Pursue 'em.
after them. And then once they're on foot, you tell them to stop, and you beat them.
All right.
Give 'em
Same
a violent felony,
question,
right? You
but
chase 'em
with
till the wheels come off.
with a weapon. They're shooting a firearm, and they get into a car. Are we saying, "Hey, stop the car, so you're gonna get shot"? Yeah,
Depending on what's going on. Was it action discharge? They shot somebody? What did they do?
they're shooting people.
Yes, absolutely. You
Okay.
warn them. You have
That's
positive
what I'm
ID.
just
You
making sure.
shoot to kill. There's no shooting the engine. You shoot to kill.
I guess kind of like as a slight follow-up to that, let's say, they're all people of the streets. I ain't talking to cops, So you can't determine who the aggressor is, Is it just get medical for everyone, take all the weapons and cut them loose? Or is it you want us to hit them with like disturbing the peace?
I would go with whatever probable cause you have. If you get information, push for charge. If you can't, you can't. Just go with what you have, basically. Make the best out of it.
Yeah, if you can't tell who's the aggressor, who's the defender, I'm also not going to be taking people's equipment, right?
You could take it as evidence, but that's why I'm asking.
Sure, you can take it as evidence, but that means you got to give it back if we conduct or conclude our investigation, right?
Check for blood. Check for.
Okay, I actually have a really good question.
You might have the same question I have.
Somebody got the right to remain silent, right? But
Right.
what if they also have the legal obligation? They
Yep,
are
there it is.
required to inform us as to what transpired. If they fail to do so, then it's no longer considered self-defense based on legislation.
Yeah,
right?
that'd be a felony
someone-
obstruction of justice, wouldn't it, Rhodes?
Well, no. What I'm saying here is,
Okay, then.
I mean, yes, to a
So
degree. I
confident.
guess you could say that. But
It was so
are we
kids like felony
utilizing this
obstruction of justice. Isn't that right, Rose?
We should.
No.
At the
The
very
last
bottom.
line is actually very important. We should.
Right. So my question becomes, if somebody decides to not speak with us, right? What should we be charging them with? Are we changing it from this is no longer self-defense because you failed to follow through with the stand your ground concept here? Or are we pushing an obstruction charge on that basis? Because this literally does state they are required to. And
I
if
would
they
go
fail to do
with-
so,
I would go disorderly conduct. If you don't have any probable cause of articulating how an attack happened, they're not willing to tell you what's going on, I would go with the minimum with disorderly conduct. Now, if you're able to push charges and show that, hey, this was not self-defense, go for it. Like you said, the last line matters. They have to inform of what happened, right? Afterwards.
if it's not deemed self-defense on the basis that they didn't follow through with every step required here, should we not just instead push?
Yes, push the charge of assault with deadly.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, understood.
Wait, hold on. What is you're talking about questioning and they don't want to say nothing?
Yeah, I asked them
Which
what
article?
happened. The very last one, under
Article 8.
under the Constitution, defense of
looking.
self and others. Person can use force to defend themselves or associates in their vicinity when they actually and reasonably believe that they're in danger of serious bodily harm or death. However, person is required to take reasonable steps, such as stepping back or walking away, that are consistent with the person's own safety to try to avoid the necessity of taking someone's life. As soon as imminent danger is past, persons are required to inform authorities of what has transpired.
I mean,
Yeah,
the
I
last
haven't
line
had a
is
lot of
very
people.
important.
I haven't had a lot of people telling me that they don't know what happened. That they're not going to talk to me. They just said they don't know what happened. They're not sure what happened. It's
Or they
fuzzy,
claim
because
it's
most
just,
of the time
you
it's
know,
the victims that are
yeah.
left behind.
Yeah, like they're injured, they don't recall what's going on, and all blacked out, lights went out, things like that. That's a lot of sims I get too.
I think I'd be. I don't think I'd be pushing no charge on anyone that's saying they don't recall what happened exactly.
I mean, can we not? Okay, so look,
Kenzie.
read the charge for felony obstruction of justice.
Oh no.
If I have somebody that tells me I don't talk to the ops or to hell with y'all, I'm not a snitch, then they are intentionally hindering the discovery, apprehension, conviction, or punishment of a person who committed a crime.
Except they're not legally obliged to tell you what happened, right? That's what Miranda rights are.
But you're right, but they're not remaining silent. They are making it very clear that they are intentionally not speaking to you. So they do have the right to remain silent.
Right, but how do you know they're intentionally hindering? Do you know
Because
for a
they said,
fact-
I don't snitch. If they say, I don't snitch, I don't talk to the cops, then yes, they have declared that they have now intentionally decided to not help you apprehend a suspect. So it is absolutely a felony obstruction. Like, there's no, you can't convince me the way this is worded and that it ain't. I will start pushing this on every single son of a bitch who tells me that.
I think that's a
Right.
quick way for the DOJ to say, all right, we'll just rewrite the law and then tell you to F off pretty much.
Okay, well, until that happens, then I think we
So
do
what
it
does the right
because
to remain
nobody.
silent mean?
Yeah,
It means you remain silent.
Right.
And anything you say can and will be used against you.
The
Right, so
problem
if
is
they
that
don't want to
he's
speak, they don't have to speak.
Right, but if they do speak and then say, I don't speak to cops, I'm not a snitch, they have taken their right to speak, and it is now being used against them because they have declared that they are intentionally hindering the apprehension of a criminal.
The
There's
only-
no way. There's no way in hell you're convincing
But
me
you have
otherwise.
to,
I'm gonna
but
butt
you
in.
have to articulate
I'm gonna
that,
butt
though,
in
more
real
than
quick.
Just, go ahead, Flop.
I have had multiple instances coming onto a scene where someone genuinely was not involved. They just don't like the police. Am I to assume that just because they don't like the police, it's now felony obstruction? I'm to assume that they were involved or witnessed?
Yeah, so if you're working a case, for example, Cletus, and you have somebody involved who witnessed
Okay.
what happened, then afterwards when you talk to them, you say, yo, you say, hey, sir, ma'am, can you tell me what happened? And their response, I don't talk to the police, I'm not snitching. If you can articulate that they were present, they witnessed what happened, then a felony obstruction would apply. Because if they saw what happened, they're not willing to tell you, that is intentionally hindering your investigation.
Okay, that's fair. Actually, you're absolutely right. Because they could just say, I don't talk to the police, but you don't actually know if they were there. So if they say, you ask them, were you here? Sir, ma'am, were you here? Yes, I was here. Did you see what happened? Yes or no? Okay, well, you tell me what happened. I don't talk to the police. There you go. There's the 3 steps. 3 strikes, you're out.
Yeah, and
I know. Hey, listen,
the witness
listen.
portion actually makes this very interesting because in the event of, let's say, a court case, right, a witness can't plead the fifth, right? They're not at risk of self-incrimination, so they're legally required to answer.
Right.
But I mean, Cornwood,
If they
brings up a
declare
good
themselves
point,
as a witness.
unrelated to just this situation, because I actually think there's a better way to deal with this, specific to stand your ground, which is if they don't tell us and have followed through with all steps of stand your ground, I think they should not have a valid reason to self-defense, and as a result get charged with, let's say, assault with a deadly or whatever it is, right? But in this specific case with felony obstruction and someone intentionally hindering the discovery, in a court of law, someone is required to answer again, and they can't plead the fifth if they're a witness because they're not at risk of self-incrimination. So how do we apply that in our situation where most times we have people in a cell and not in a courtroom? Because I'm very curious about that.
I don't think we as law enforcement can force anyone to testify to anything or say anything. I think in a court of law it might be different. I don't think us as law enforcement
So I
can
request
require a witness.
You make them. I don't know. You
You
make
can
them.
summon them as a witness, and the judge can order them to speak or not speak. I don't. That's not. We can't force someone to speak.
I get what Cornwood's
think we have a
saying,
charge.
but
I
we
don't
can't
think-
make
I
the
don't think
assumption someone was
charging
involved
someone
because
for
they don't want to speak to
speaking,
the
not
police.
speaking to law enforcement, we can't do that.
Okay, well, what if somebody
not gonna
says,
do
hey,
that.
I just shot this guy and there's a guy dead on the ground? Well, we're charging him for speaking that. You see what I'm saying? Because we don't know if he did or not. We have
You
no
have
evidence
to support it now. Well, he stated he's self-admittance, right?
Right.
Do you have a gun? Is he GSR positive? Do you have evidence to support your arrest?
No,
You still
let's
gotta
say we,
do it
let's
just
say
'cause
let's
he
say we don't
stated
have
it.
any of that. Yeah, let's say we don't have any of that. We only say, hey, I shot this guy 30 minutes ago and I've been standing here waiting for y'all to pick him up.
Do you have any evidence to support it? I mean, would I arrest him based on his own admission if he's Mirandized or if it's spontaneous utterance? Sure, I might go ahead and arrest him.
Yeah,
if there's any
hell, I
pushback,
would.
if there's pushback, that's a different story, right?
But I mean, yeah. I mean, I might arrest him, take him to court, and bench trial. And all of a sudden he's like, no, I just said that. And then you say, what evidence do you have? And you're like, and then they get your ass because they're just trying to waste your damn time.
You testify in court that under Miranda, he stated that he shot the person. This person was shot. Now they're gonna start asking for evidence, though, right?
Yeah.
So it can be a bit of a slippery slope there, I guess.
Yeah, I think that's what's happening. Because I'm trying to be difficult here. I'm really not, but I'm sick and tired of people not respecting us because they think we don't do shit. I'm telling you, I hear it all damn day. I run out there every damn day. There's people that they think we don't do nothing. All the cops show up. Okay, they showed up 30 minutes late. They didn't respond to my call. They didn't do this. They didn't do that. I'm telling you, this is the only. They got to find out. Okay, and if they don't want to find out, we got to let them know. You see what I'm saying? Like
Yeah, but we don't
have
make the
to put our
rules
foot down.
of when we make them know, right?
Right.
We have rules that we
within the
abide by,
rules.
laws that we abide by.
Yeah, but within the rules.
Charging someone for obstruction if they don't want to talk to the police is not a
But
that's not a
that's
correct charge.
Captain, with all due respect, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying if they have now stated that they were there, they state that they're a witness,
that is
and
what
then they
you
state that they refused to speak
Hi,
with me
Cornwood. Cook.
after saying that they were a witness to a crime, saying that they were there, and then saying that they refuse to speak with me, then at that point, yes, you are stopping the apprehension of a criminal, because they might know. Well, here's the thing. Now you say, do you know who did it? So maybe that's another thing you need. So 4 steps.
I think there needs maybe we've got to talk to DOJ about this, but we can't force people to state anything. We can't force them.
Well, we can't force them, but I mean, what I'm saying is if they're saying the rest of it all the way leading up to it, and then they stop right there. Because if they just say I don't talk to the cops and they leave, I think Captain Slacks, I think your argument, in court, that's what they would say, and they actually would be absolutely right. Because who's to say they even saw what happened? Okay, yeah, actually you're right. So at that point, they're not really, because their statement that they give might not help us at all.
Can I request a bench trial for charges I'm pushing?
No,
We
it has to
flopped
be
it
them.
once a long time ago.
Why?
Flop, you remember that?
I don't even
I mean,
remember, to be
If I
honest.
need a
was
witness
rude,
to
remember?
testify who's unwilling to speak to me,
Her
and
license?
the only means I have
Yeah, I don't remember what the whole
is
case
to
was, though.
have a judge call them.
That was so
into
long ago.
court. How do I go about doing that without it?
I'd be
being a
curious
bench
if we
trial?
talk to DOJ
Yeah,
about this. See
no,
what they
we
say.
could do that. Just place on a docket instead of taking them bench trial. And then they'll be subpoenaed to someone to show up to court. If they don't, they'll get contempt.
I mean, what's the difference then between like this is like splitting hairs at this point, but between a bench trial versus open court versus open court? I'm not requesting a bench trial. I'm going to open court with my suspect.
I mean, sure.
I feel like it would make it would. I mean, I guess in the defense of the other individual who's
I understand Corwood's stance on it.
being
I think
charged with
I
stuff,
think he's
but-
got the right intention. I think he's I think he's got the
I'd
right
rather see a
idea.
cop
I
take
just
them
think
to
he's
bench
got the
trial
wrong
unless
intention.
The criminal wants to take it to bench trial because a lot of
If
times
there's
they'll
any
just say,
if there's any
"Processing
charge
them,
we could
good,
be
send me up."
articulating, I don't think felony obstruction for this is going to resolve the issue. Because if you witness what
a lot
happened,
has run through my mind. Sorry, go ahead.
Someone with a gun at Senior Buns.
Another day that ends in Y.
Wait,
How do you know that? What?
It was
That was 5 minutes ago.
yeah, it was a brandishing call 5 minutes ago, but we've not had any calls of a gun being used at Senior Buns.
Those can also be hunting rifles, no?
They can be.
Yeah.
Yes.
Could be, yeah.
Some of these locals got to take education courses in what guns are dangerous and what aren't.
A hunting rifle is dangerous.
Hunting
Well,
rifle can kill you.
Well, the ones that we have the
Oh, not
safety-
according to Crane. Not
safety
according to
trigger,
Crane.
Yeah, Crane says they have safety triggers and we don't have to worry about it.
Okay, yeah, but you know what I mean.
So,
any gun should still be treated with proper safety.
agreed.
I have one more. I have one more question. Is
Yeah.
there anything we can do about these? I'm seeing a lot of like my last 3 shifts. We've gone in like 4 or 5 bicycle chases, and it seems almost never ending. I was gonna see if we have like what is the best measure for us to take against chasing bicycles?
Cut them off, get them against the wall, hop off your
Open the
bike,
door.
tase them.
You gotta find a way to corner them and tase them. That's your best bet. Get in front of them.
Drive by them
then,
and open a door.
yeah.
If you're saying tase, okay, so a flop might be able to add on to this, but I mean, wouldn't
You mind speaking up,
tasing
Lucas?
them oh, sorry. Wouldn't tasing them be breaching our use of force?
Only if they have resisted cuffs.
Okay.
So
You can
tase
tackle
them-
people off bicycles.
Oh, that too. There you go.
That's
Yeah,
a
good
little
luck
scary,
catching
but
up to
I
them
mean,
at 40
yeah,
miles
I
an
don't.
hour.
I don't know how that's gonna
fast.
happen.
They're
fast.
I mean, I'd
Fucking
rather
close
just
line.
pull in front of them and hope they hit me at that point.
I'll be honest. If you took our Vapid Cruisers on a bicycle off the line, the bicycle would.
That's
How
well,
about that?
I don't
They're
know.
not
Any
that bad right
opposition
now.
to
Oh,
Yeah, they're not
Illuminate! I don't give a flying fuck what any other
Look,
streamer has to
I'm
say about
curious
PDRP.
because,
They can. I
tasing
don't. I
would
don't give a
then,
fuck.
Like you're
Right.
kind of
So we're not
skipping
tasing
stuff, I
unless they've
guess.
resisted.
Corwin's got a
Right.
good
So
mindset and trying to improve the PD.
Try to get him off that.
The only time
We are
we're
limited
ever gonna
capacity
skip
right now.
taser, which is something we've talked
thing
about in
is,
the past, or skip
the thing is,
skip
what
the
Corwin
use
was
of force,
complaining
if
about is
somebody hasn't
going to be
resisted and tase 'em,
resolved.
is if they're sitting in a car.
We're eventually going to
perfectly
have an
boxed,
evidence
they're sitting there
system.
consistently for
Yeah.
We
you know,
go
10,
for a
20,
push
30
on
seconds
certain
saying they're not gonna get out
charges.
of the
That's
vehicle.
great. I'm
At
glad
point,
that
then you're gonna skip
our
it, and
mind
and
is.
they're not going to get out of the vehicle. Then you're going to
You know.
taser.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know. I was just curious with the bike thing because we had that run in earlier and we didn't want to
But
skip
you
any steps, so we didn't tackle, etc. Like it was just until they fell off their bike on their own accord, and then it
You
just
can
moved
bump
on
them
from
off,
there.
but you got to be very careful with that, right?
Right.
It's a matter
That's
of,
that's
you
what we
know-
were worried about, like running them over, etc. So
Right.
we didn't advise anyone of doing that.
You can definitely put your vehicle in front of them.
Car door's a good idea. Open up if you got a passenger, open up the passenger door.
No, don't smack him with the car door.
I don't think that's what we
No,
should
that's-
do.
No, please. We'll
You
get
like
sued.
break their leg or their face.
Or you might
Yeah,
break
I
your
don't
own
see
leg.
How that's a whole lot different than blocking them off with a car too.
Yeah, what's the difference? But yeah, I mean, not like I'm not saying like you hit them at 40 miles an hour with the car door open, car door open. But if I pull in front of them and then open the car door, then open the car, that sounds very similar to pulling in front of them with the car.
It sounds
Yeah,
like
I
a
don't see why not.
VCT to me. Vehicular combat training.
We don't teach that. We don't teach
okay.
that here in the department.
Okay.
This is something outdated, big time. All right, anything else we need to talk about? Because, like I said, there's a lot going on. Be safe.
Damn.
I've authorized vest patrol for the time being because there's multiple gunmen. There's been 3
Oh.
cops that have been robbed today, me included.
Oh my god.
Coco
Is
got
that-
robbed. Not Coco, sorry. What's his
Bob-
name?
Bobby,
Got-
sorry, Bobby.
Bobby got robbed. And I believe Aldo got robbed earlier too as well.
I got robbed.
Bones as well.
Bones
And
got robbed. So
You got
four
robbed.
guns.
Was it 4 or 5?
4 cops got
Jesus.
robbed today.
In a general sense, obviously, like the gloves are off. But are we going to straight to shooting when it's safe?
Absolutely.
Okay,
If you get robbed of your gun, and we're able to keep an eye on the suspect who held you up and did that, we're gonna warn them over the radio. Oh, sorry, the megaphone. If they don't stop, we'll deploy lethal force and they'll be shot.
Okay.
Cap, how do you feel about people having an extra gun in their lockbox until things slow down?
I gotta talk to the captains about that. My fear is that might lead to more guns being stolen. Once people know that we have them in our lock storage, that's my fear. But that's what I did with my robbery. I went down to a Covenant. I was dealing with the litter.
I want to ask a question, but this is sort of like OOC. I
I
don't.
knew if I stepped out with my cop car down the south side, somebody will find me and rob me. And behold, 5 minutes later, 2 guys pull up with guns and rob me.
Didn't Denzel get a DAP for that, Captain?
Yeah.
He did, actually.
Right.
So we should put our guns away
Weird,
if we're
weird
going
how
out.
that works.
No.
A meeting with people.
No,
Okay.
no. Cletus, first of all, you better watch
Sorry,
your mouth, okay?
I'm sorry, Captain.
You
No,
better-
go
Some
ahead.
things really
I
bother me,
just-
Captain. I'm
I
sorry.
just saved us from losing a gun on the streets, okay?
You
Right.
did. So did Den. Because he actually ended up getting robbed himself right afterwards, and he got
He
dapped
didn't
for it
lose
by
the
Captain
gun.
Ruth.
Yep.
I don't think you get death for that.
He did.
You sure? So if I
I'm
pull up right
positive.
now.
Pull it up.
I was on duty the day that happened. Okay, and let me tell you,
this
to
is
be
not the-
fair.
this is not
if
the-
he did get dapped, I did have to shoot someone for him because he didn't have a gun.
Oh, there you go. There's your answer.
But I don't know if that's the situation at hand.
I mean, he didn't get dapped for that though. So are we going? Are we going to put charges on
Yeah.
folks? I mean, is there a statute of limitations?
I'm looking at it right now. He never got depped. The first time he got depped was on January 2nd.
You're positive?
I'm looking at it right now.
Actually, if it referenced our lock storage, he was
I'm
actually
about to
unaware,
step
'cause
in
that
and,
was the
cut
day
this
that they
out.
had them installed.
I was gonna
He
say
was
we
unaware
didn't
until
have
later
lock
in the
storages
day.
for
No,
a
he,
while.
no, he specifically told me. I
First
remember,
thank you
he
for the
said-
13 months.
put
I
it in the lock
appreciate you.
storage?
He told
How you
me
doing?
beforehand. He said we got the lock storage, and he told me that he's starting to put his gun in lock storage whenever he has to get out of the car by himself.
Like I said, I don't think we would blame an officer for doing something like that, unless the circumstances were Rhodes mentioned where it allowed another officer to be in a position where they're basically, in a tough position to where.
Thank you
you're
for
not
science.
no
I
assistance to
appreciate
them.
you for the
So
13.
Something like that would be dab worthy, but if you're If you're being smart about placing your gun and you're not getting robbed, I don't think we're gonna punish you for something like that. So let's not bring up information that's not correct. Thank you. Y'all dismissed.
Woo!
All right, fine, let's go to the roof.
All right, awesome. I was gonna fucking. The awkward silence after was spoke volumes.
I literally did that an hour ago.
Oh man.
Categorize everything for your convenience. I've not written everything down, but I haven't written down the categories either. But I am gonna go categorize just so that things don't go in a spiral. And a
Yeah,
circle.
that's gonna
Also that
backpedal on Corwood.
There's some organization to it.
I got you all good. That was.
I mean, I gotta.
That
just,
left a sour
I just gotta
taste.
Let it out, man.
All good. We'll talk through everything. Tell you what, though. Duncan, I know you got a good head on your shoulders.
Okay.
I mean, I was waiting for the captain to say something, but I'm not. That one's not on me to jump in and state. I'm gonna start making a point that shit shouldn't be talked about anymore at the meetings.
Okay.
That was a waste of time.
What were we talking about?
Other people's daps.
Oh yeah.
In the middle of the
noticed
meeting,
that.
as a hot gotcha, I'm not okay with that. I don't care what the reason was. I don't care if it was justified or not. That is something that you could have a conversation with the captain with after the meeting. That's not relevant to anyone else in the meeting.
So I've been waiting to fucking scream and shout.
Mhm.
I've been waiting for the right moment. I think it's
Give me a
more
minute.
effective when you don't scream and you just keep things at a regular tone. And then the day you do scream, people will listen to you. But I also believe that there's time and place and productivity, and right there in the meeting ain't it?
I was gonna jump in. I think Slacks ended that poorly, if I'm being honest. I was gonna jump in and just state, hey, this is a conversation that we can have after. We need units on the road. Let's not waste everyone's time here. If this is something that can be reclarified at a later date, so be it. But right before I got a chance to open my mouth, Slacks said meeting was dismissed and walked out. So, oh well.
All right, so I'm gonna have this discussion, but at some point I'm gonna need like 30 seconds to review my notes.
No, you're.
It's unfortunate timing that I need that 30 seconds.
Do you want to
but
do that now before we start?
Yeah,
Have that 30 seconds.
I'm having that 30 seconds. Just know I don't have any notes.
All right.
I think you picked up on that. You understood the assignment. The assignment.
I'm
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do that. Please don't doubt me.
I can only recommend them.
Well, just don't. That slipped out. I did not mean to actually do that.
You're fine. You're fine.
I already got dapped for it, and I'm really trying not to do it again.
Wait, doing what?
The Evola bit.
Oh,
Anyway, I need those 30 seconds.
that's fine. Yeah. I think the way Cornwood carried himself in that meeting might backpedal on him a little bit. I understand where Cornwood's going. Granted, that's not up to Flop to really decide and figure out, but Cornwood is passionate. But I think out of anything to argue, I don't think felony obstruction of justice is going to apply for people that don't want to speak to the police. It's also, forget unprofessional. It's also, from the PD's eyes, from the side of command who are trying to be consistent, it is counterintuitive to address somebody's personal daps in a meeting full of people. So I think Cornwood's got the spirit. I think the way it came off was more of an addressment.
All right, first category, patrol. You ready?
All right, give me I'm gonna need you to speak slowly and just concisely. Just know that I can't write as quick as you talk. All right.
Oh, I don't mind repeating myself. You know me.
All right. Go ahead, Avola.
My name's not Avola.
I know, Duncan.
I don't want that to become a thing again. I'm deathly afraid of being dapped for that again.
I'm kidding. Go ahead.
Okay. Patrol. Other people have issues with the being broken off pursuits. I don't. I personally think that we should be breaking off pursuits when it's non-violent. I think there's very few of us, and there's priorities that need to be taken. And being in the same chase for 3 hours is really annoying, and I'm glad we're not doing that. So that's not going to be my complaint. That's just other people's complaint. My complaint is.
Hold on. Priorities need to be taken, and I'm glad that's. To be blunt with you, I don't think we should be entertaining people full sending it off of fucking bridges and full send.
Exactly.
I think
that's
it
what
is.
I said.
Here's the issue: is that eventually it's going to be. People are going to abuse it, and the people that abuse it are the ones that are going to be, for lack of a better term, dealt with. We are to have pretty straight shot chases. I don't like the idea of us, you know, doing a $150 off of fucking a bridge. I think that's stupid, dangerous, and that's gonna get people killed.
I agree. I agree. I actually like it. I'm just saying that other people they don't like that. But
No, that's fair. I'm just voicing my side of it too. I think that
yeah,
this
the
is something
response I
different.
give to them is there's so few of us, and I'd rather us spend time with the people that matter than someone who's gonna eventually hit a pole and never come back out of the pole. They're driving like that.
Yeah, I don't know. But your main contingency about patrol.
Yeah, but yes, that's one of the big things that I've heard. I don't agree with it. The other thing that I heard that I don't agree with is people are afraid to be on duty because they're afraid of getting dapped, which I also think is dumb. Just take your dap points on the chin, learn from it, and move on. Or just don't do things that get you dapped. Either one of those two. You got that?
Take it on the chin and accept it, or you said take it on the chin and accept it, or what?
Dap points.
No, I know that. You're saying it's dumb that people don't want to come on duty, and you think
they're afraid of getting dapped.
Yeah.
They have a fear of it. I was asked about what my opinion on DAP points and if I'm afraid to do my job or whatever, and I said,
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah, what's up?
That question specifically, were you asked by, I don't want to know who, but were you asked by a captain or by someone else on general patrol? Because I have a follow-up.
A captain.
Okay. Go ahead.
I said, with all due respect, I wouldn't do things that got me DAP points in the first place, and if I did, I'd learn from it.
Do you feel like the DAP system is inconsistent?
I feel like the DAP system is actually really consistent. It's laid out all the points and what you get and for what doing what. It's all there on the paper.
So I'll tell you what. We'll go back to your complaints in 1 second. Can I share something with you?
Sure.
I just want your opinion on something. I'm gonna share oh man. Actually, I'm gonna share this through your state ID. I don't want to share this locally here.
There's a lot of people in this building.
Yeah. What's your state ID?
1593.
Okay. Shared you a document called DAP example. I want you to look at it, and I just want you to read it, and I'm gonna explain it to you. How do you feel about people wanting to, or how do you feel about time on duty taking into account your DAP points?
God, I was expecting this to be like, you know.
No, this is not going to be beautifully drawn. This is a rough draft.
I don't care about how long it takes for them to fall off.
No. It's got nothing to do with that. People are afraid to come on duty, or some people are afraid to be around because they're afraid to be dapped, or they're afraid that they're so close to that threshold. They're concerned about, you know, if I'm on duty 8 hours a day, and you know, bam, I get clipped for it. You know, I'm on review to be fired, right? So I offered a system to the captains. I want your opinion on it. In the example I'm showing there, this is just some complaints other officers have given me is that 60 days is too long. I believe otherwise. I think do I think it's a little long? Sure, it could be a little long. It could be argued. Especially if you come on duty every single day, right? You had a bad situation, you rack up a couple DAP points, you have 7 or 8. Yeah, I can understand why you might be a little hindered to want to continue to do 8 to 10 hours a day on shift, right? I can understand that. Little worried to know that you're spending so much time. So I drew out an example, and I'm asking people how they feel about it, because time is not currently in conjunction with our DAP system, and I think changing the DAP system is stupid. I think the DAP system actually works pretty well. If I'm being honest, it just, you know, the point of contingency people have is that.
Hold on, don't look now. Avolis behind you. I don't know what he wants, but he did tell me to meet him on the roof.
Okay, well we are having a meeting. I mean, if you want to let him know, you can call him in a little bit. Feel free.
I'm just worried. I don't know what he's plotting over there.
You want to go talk to him?
He said meet me on the roof, but like to get a vol of DAP points.
Let him know. I mean, if you want, you can go over and just let him know, hey, listen, I'm going to be in this meeting for a couple minutes. Could I call you in a little bit?
Yeah, I'm going to go do that.
He wants to change so much in RP, but just loudly complain. No, Desi, I'm not judging someone's RP on that. I'm not.
Talk to the senior.
I was gonna have him. I was having him. We're gonna be a while.
Oh, I thought you was done. God damn it.
Sorry, Ebola.
Okay.
I'll give you.
Don't be sorry. It's not your fault. Not your fault. Just keep on waiting. God fucking damn it.
All right. So give me the rundown. So, sorry. I forgot I was talking about DAP system.
We can talk about DAP system later about what my thoughts are on it.
Mm-hmm.
But those are the complaints that don't affect me and don't really bother me.
No, that's fine.
I don't agree with.
I'm
now on to the meat and potatoes.
Yeah, I want to address real quick my example on how you feel about this. In the example that I have in this photo, it's a little sloppy. Just bear with me. Officer 1 does 50 hours a week. Officer 2 does 5 hours a week. They both have 1 DAP, right? Now, severity of DAPs can come into place later. Any of that can kind of fall in line at a later time. But for this example, we'll just say they both have 1 DAP. One does 50 hours a week, one does 5, right? And DAPs take 60 days to fall off. The average between 50 hours a week and 5 is 27 and a half hours. I pitched a system, and I want people's opinions on it. If you are able to meet the minimum requirement per weekly average of the UPD, I think people should be, or I think that a system could be in place to give people the opportunity to be put on an officer review based on the work that they've done in that time. And let's say there's a fall off period or whatever it is. And at that point, maybe they can be awarded back, or not even awarded back, but given leniency under the idea that they have showed the effort to still show up, not be afraid to come on duty, and they could look at maybe losing a DAP point if they have shown the consistency. I'm using 5 and 50 just as an easy example, but Officer 2 still does 5 to 10 hours a day. I think that Officer 2 should still be waiting the 60 days regardless. I don't think that the person still showing around 5 hours a day or not showing up at all should be given the leniency of an officer review. They haven't done anything to prove themselves. Would you feel like time on duty should take effect into.
Yeah, that sounds right. If you can find a way to explain that math to the captains, I think it would work well.
I've tried. I wanted your opinion on it. I'm getting just kind of a head count on people and how they feel. I think if you push, 200 hours in a month, and someone pushes 10 hours a month, I think the person pushing 10 hours a month who has DAP points shouldn't be, shown any leniency. But if you're looking to make a valiant effort to prove that you are still able to show up and show that change, I think we should be giving some sort of, I don't like to call it an incentive, because if you're coming on duty meeting the average, and we look at your reports and you have not had a single report made and you have not taken lead on a single scene, and there's just nothing you've done in 27 and a half hours, what have you done to prove and show? You know what I mean? So I'm looking to try and play that out. It would be technical, but I don't think it would alter the DAP system. I think it's just an extra layer to the DAP system.
Yeah, I think it would work well if you could explain the math to the captains.
Yeah, I've tried. I think Slacks took it, and I don't know how far he really ran with it, but
I lost him after explaining the math.
Yeah, very Slacks moment. Okay, so moving past that.
My complaints.
Your complaints. So let me pull up a notes real quick.
Mm-hmm. You ready?
Okay, go ahead.
All right. It's really hard to go on duty and stay on duty when our numbers are just so awful to the point where I can't take a break or breathe or ride with people, because there's a constant influx of people who need our help, and then even when we're stretched thin, there are people who are saying like, "Oh, I mean, Cornwood said it, police don't care, the police don't do anything, etc., because there's just so little of us and so many of them." And not only that, the calls are for nothing, right? I don't really care, and I think most people who are hired on or kind of ask this, what the result is of a thing. Like, sometimes we'll just have to let them go and investigate them later, which is just, that's the case. But how many senior bun stabbings that you get a statement and it goes into a report, and the report is lost in the sands of time? You have to do a day before you just like, what am I doing? Am I helpful? It's just a lot. And that's fine. I like taking statements. I do. But while I'm trying to take statements, I'm also getting yelled at. Hey, we need officers on patrol. It's just something at 32 over here. Let's go. As well as being, every time I walk in any general direction, which this is a good problem to have, is people want to talk to you. They want your help. They need, go, officer, help me. And I just finally get a break. Right now, I don't even feel comfortable having this meeting with you right now, because I feel like any second now we're gonna get someone on the radio saying, "Get off! Stop cop stacking MRP and get out there." Like, we had to have a meeting about cadets yesterday off duty in civvies yesterday because there was a lot going on and we couldn't just stand an MRPD.
I'm gonna be honest with you. My goal with this, Duncan, is that I want everyone's voices heard. I have a Google document because there were too many people who have had complaints, and I want to go hand them to the captains, either paraphrase them so that they have no idea. I'm keeping names anonymous. I'm not even writing your name on these notes. You were just labeled as officer. in caps, full just OFFICER. That is who you are. And I want to go to the captains and tell them, listen, I know you guys have a lot going on. And I know that foundationally, we have a lot going on. We are in a new system. I know that you guys are learning as much as we are. They're going through this for the first time as much as we're going through this, you know, in the first time. The problem with the name Duncan, the problem with the name Flop, the problem with the name Cornwood, the problem with the name Avola is that now there's a personality to the complaint. My goal with this is to keep it anonymous so that the only people that can reflect on the complaints is how the captains are receiving the information, not who they're receiving it from.
I wonder if that will make a difference. I hope so. Because
That's my goal with this. That is 100%.
We're still in patrol.
Yeah. I mean, that's my point though. Is it's like this is what I need. I need this because I'm gonna go to the captains and I'm gonna tell them, hey, you know, I don't even remember who I spoke to, and respectfully speaking, I wouldn't tell you even if I did. Take this information, whether you take this with importance or you don't take it at all. This has been the entirety of the month of January. I have been doing this, and these are the complaints that everybody has. And I promise you, Duncan, I'm preaching this so loudly, respectfully speaking, without telling you who else I've spoken to. You are far from the only person having a almost bare-bone identical complaint, which is a good thing because consistency across the board tells the captains that something is not adding up. Something is not right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't want you to feel bad or feel pressured to talk to me. I don't want you to, you know, have any concerns or reservations. I want you to tell me everything because I'm not holding back with either captains. I'm not holding back with Turner, and I'm not holding back with Slacks. I would include Ruth. I'm gonna be honest. I've met Ruth like once. I just don't think our shifts line up. But I would offer the exact same sentiment to Ruth as well.
Yeah. I'm gonna continue with patrol, and then we'll get to the other categories. So
So I'm just up to. Let me finish what I was writing before. Sorry. Give me 1 sec.
Yeah.
While taking statements, we have people yelling for units. Hey, we need units at that 32.
Poor Avola, man. He has no idea what he's waiting for.
Taking statements, we have people yelling for units. Hey, we need units at that 32. We are spread very thin, and a lot of us are struggling to catch a break. Okay. Go ahead, pass this. After I'm done with all this, I'm gonna read back everything you've told me, what I've noted down, and if there's anything missing or adding, or as long as it is paraphrased to a point that you agree with your statement that you gave me, it is gonna remain again completely anonymous. Okay.
All right.
So I'm good when you are. Go ahead.
Maybe I don't know if this is an everyone issue. It might just be a me issue. There's very little people to pick from. Of like, damn, I want to ride with someone today, and I find myself riding alone because everyone on duty. I just don't. Because I don't like. I wouldn't say I don't mesh with them, but like. You know, maybe their interests are different than mine or whatever have you, or you know, I just don't really know them. And I think it's a good opportunity to know somebody, but sometimes you just want to find people that you synergize with. And my issue is that I'm like, I know I've been here for like a month, but I'm like the new kid, and everyone's just so different to me.
Do you want me to note this down in your stuff, or do you want me to just talk to you about this? Because I'm willing to kind of resonate with you on maybe the way that I view it. If you would like me to keep this off your kind of statements of concerns. If you want me to note this down, I will. I want whatever you're comfortable.
I don't think it's fixable until like and we'll cover this in a different topic until there's a larger pool of people available. But there really isn't right now. It's like the same 8 people on duty every day.
Yo,
There's no variety.
McAllister, thank you so much for the brand new Prime. Appreciate you. Can we get a bunch of hearts?
But that's gonna be a wait until we get new hires sort of thing. We'll probably cover it in a different category. You don't have to write it down. There's nothing they can do about it, really. I'd rather you just resonate with me.
So
Just show me your.
I'm gonna tell you what I wrote down for that section, and I'm gonna paraphrase it to I think what you're getting at. You said there's very little people to pick from to ride with, and unfortunately, we sometimes don't have enough units to spread that thin. Is all I'm writing there.
Yeah.
Would you say that that's a good like consensus while keeping your side of the?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm gonna be blunt with you. We're in a new time. We're in a reasonably new police department, as you know. And what I am noticing, and what I am seeing, and what I am personally experiencing myself. Do you remember back in school, you know, your teacher would say pick a partner, and you would immediately look at your friend, and it's like, okay, that's my partner right there because I know them and I don't want to, you know, deal with strangers.
Mm-hmm.
I think there is a subtle, I'm not going to say a severe, but a subtle click currently in the PD because there's so much new stuff. I think people who know each other from years past are resonating better with each other. And obviously having 3 to a car is a lot. And I think sometimes people right now, at least, are looking to have that personality with others that they are already aware of and who they know. And it's unfair for people like yourself because, Duncan, I'm going to be blunt. I don't think there's anything wrong with you. I don't think you do anything actually necessarily wrong. I think you're a great officer with a good head on your shoulders who understands the job very well. There are going to be people, and I, for one, when I can finally get my head out of my own fucking ass with just how much is going on, there are people that I know would love to ride with you, me included. Do you feel like I'm sort of maybe hitting the nail on the head, or do you feel like I'm still missing it?
Well, I didn't.
That's the way I feel about it right now. Most people I see riding
sometimes
with each other.
I don't
Okay,
know
go ahead.
who's old and who isn't. Like, I don't immediately see these clicks you're talking about.
So, I mean,
Usually based it off the color of your hair if you're stressed out.
oh god, yeah, that was a thing for a while. Don't remind me. But it would be hard. It would be harder for me to. How do I say this? It would be harder for me to tell you exactly who is like, you know, someone coming back and who isn't. But I will tell you from my own experience looking at dispatch, most of the people who do ride with each other are people who have known each other from years past, and they already have a set boundary of personality with one another. And I think that's why they are looking to resonate to one another. I don't think that it is necessarily a personal reason. I know it may feel that way, and I, for one, can tell you right now that it could even seem that way.
Oh, I don't feel personally targeted. I don't feel that way. I just have a hard time.
You wish people
feel
were
like,
more open to the idea of just swallowing their pride and just, hey, you know what? If I'm gonna back you up in the field, we should get to know each other.
Well, the way it's been for me is I don't ask people, and I just hope that they ask me, and that they don't do that.
Well,
sometimes I will hop in a PPO's car just to see how they're doing, and then kind of realize that very quickly just how lost they are.
I mean, hey, listen, that's a good step though. Being proactive is sort of my drive in the PD. Hey, how have things been on duty? How are you doing? You know what I mean? And just hit it off that way. What's something you both have in common? You're both police officers. Okay, right? If you can be more proactive in that way, even if it's just a PPO, hey, you know, you don't even have to, you can, I mean, honestly, respectfully speaking, you could even lie to them and just say, hey, I'm just doing a quick check, see how things are going with you. How do you think things have been on duty? Mind if I hop in the car with you for a couple? We'll talk. Okay, cool. What's going on? How do you feel about things going on? And just talk to people. Just get them to open up. Because at that point, when people open up, you have an opportunity to at least relate with them, right? Now, granted, for a cadet, we don't want to, turn around and tell them, hey, it doesn't get better, right? But at the same time, I think it's good to hear each other out, and I think it's good to voice those frustrations. Do you have any food by